Yannick Narkwe or how to pronounce his last name, from the Jaguars. It's a good move. So you've got that double with Everson Griffin at the Cowboys. You've got that double edge rush like you had before him. I think this team's going to be fine. The offense is going to be fine, even without Diggs. I feel like Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen are going to tear it up. Dalvin Cook, I feel like the team's going to be fine. It's just whether or not Kirk Cousins can be consistent. That's it. So it's just like the Browns. If Kirk Cousins can be consistent, this team will be fine. If not, they won't. Simple stuff. I'm going to switch the Texans and Broncos. So Texans are 18 and Broncos are 15. We're going to switch them up. We have the Broncos right here at 15, and I did not make this change until earlier this morning. Von Miller's gone. Let that sink. Von Miller's gone. That's going to suck for that Denver defense. We'll have to see how Drew Lock. I don't know how Drew Lock. A lot of people are saying they think he's going to have a good season. In all my fantasy leagues, didn't draft a single wide receiver from the Denver Broncos because I don't think he will. I don't think he will. You got Melvin Gordon and Philip Lindsay right there. Okay, that's fine. Run with Melvin Gordon. That's cool. I think they're going to turn into a Tennessee. Feed Melvin Gordon, and Drew Lock can go on a play action pass every once in a while. You know, that leads us straight into our next team, the Tennessee Titans. We're going to switch them and the Chargers. Chargers are 16, Titans are 17. The Chargers are 17. There's not much to talk about here. Losing Derwin James, like they say here on CBS, it kills the defense. Really does. You know, and then having Tyrod Taylor as your quarterback. I mean, Tyrod Taylor's a solid quarterback in my opinion. I just don't know if that's somebody you want to lead, that you want leading you to the playoffs. You know, so I mean, it's Justin Herbert's team. Tyrod Taylor knows that. So it's just whether or not that defense can stand losing Derwin James. You know, it's just that's how big it is. Not much to talk about with the Chargers because I mean everybody kind of knows they're going to be kind of a mediocre team. You know, they made that Keenan Allen extension, which is going to be huge, but that's really about it. You know, Mike Williams hurt too, which also sucks. Titans at 16. You know, here's the deal. A.J. Brown, your wide receiver, that's about all you got. They're a one-dimensional team, man. You know, give it to Derrick Henry. I mean, yes, obviously, Ryan Tannehill needs to throw the ball better. I mean, yeah, that's obvious, but it's whether or not he will or not. You can sit here and say he needs to throw the ball better, but it's whether or not he does. You know, and as somebody that watched him in Miami, he doesn't throw it better. Promise. So Tennessee, we'll keep them at 16. I don't feel like they're one-dimensional, man. And they signed Clowney, which will be good for their defense. But I just feel like in order for them to take that next step to get in the top 15, they're going to need to throw the ball better. And I don't think they will, frankly. Texans at 15. I put them in the top 15 just because, okay, you lost DeAndre Hopkins. Okay, all right. Quit making a big deal about it. They act like they got nothing back. David Johnson, when healthy, is one of the best running backs in this freaking league. And I stand by David Johnson. I feel like they were reporting in training camp that he's looking just as good as he was. So if they can have that, if they can have a healthy David Johnson along with Will Fuller, Randall Cobb, Brandon Cooks, I feel like that team could be solid. I mean, you act like Randall Cobb, great slot receiver. Brandon Cooks can be a number one target. Can be. We don't know if that's good enough, but good number one target. Will Fuller, good deep threat. I mean, this team's got really all you really need, you know. And Deshaun Watson's a first-round quarterback. He can make people that aren't as good really good. Like watch Brandon Cooks have a good year this year. Watch him, you know. So I trust Deshaun Watson. I feel like this team. It could be really good on the offensive side. Now, defensive side, they have a lot of holes on defense, but having a quarterback talent like Deshaun Watson that can score the football, That's fine. You can have holes on defense with a quarterback that can score. So we'll keep that there. All right. Here we go. Now we have the Cardinals at 14. Whoa, Spence. Whoa, you have the Cardinals ranked over the Texans? Are you kidding me? The Cardinals aren't good. Whoa now. Hold on. Cardinals, the definition of the Cardinals, in my opinion, are a shootout team. They're the shootout team of the league. Them and Buffalo. The Cardinals, Kyler Murray's going to be really, really good for the Cardinals. And with DeAndre Hopkins, that only makes him better. Larry Fitzgerald is still can catch the football. I mean, look how many drops this man has had. None, no drops. Christian Kirk, underrated. I think that's going to be really good. Max Williams, underrated tight end. I think this Cardinals team could be really good. I think this is I think last year they were 1 year away. They showed you a little bit last year. Played Seattle really well. Played a couple teams really, really closely. Some good teams really closely. I feel like this could be their year where they start pulling those off because Kyler Murray's comfortable. I feel like he's a really underrated quarterback. I have him in one of my fantasy leagues. I think this Cardinal team is really underrated and are going to surprise a lot of people this year. We're going to switch the Falcons and the Colts. Falcons are 13, Colts are 12. We're going to switch those. Colts 13. Why move the Colts down? Phillip Rivers, yeah, we'll take it. A lot of short balls. You got an older T.Y. Hilton, probably not very many seasons left for him. That's really my thing is offensive weapons. How much do you have? Because Marlon Mack still needs to prove himself to me. As far as their division goes, I think they're the team, like they say here, I think they're the team to beat in the AFC South, but that division itself isn't that great. So we'll only see how that goes. There's a lot of different moving parts with them. I mean, they're a young, improving team, but still lots of moving parts. Their defense, though, that defense is stout. Keep that defense in mind. I mean, Justin Houston and DeForest Buckner in the middle. I mean, look at that. That's a good pair right there. Keep that defense in mind. Falcons at 13. Look, here's the deal. If they get let's going to keep this one short, like maybe 4 or 5 sentences. If they get a better offensive line, they're going to the playoffs. That's it. You got running back, receivers, quarterback. That's about it. If you can get a better offensive line, they're going to the playoffs. That's about it. That's why I have them at 12. Cowboys 11. I trust Mike McCarthy because they have a bunch. They're like the Browns, like I said earlier, loaded roster. But they've still been kind of underperforming. Mike McCarthy was the right choice for head coach. I trust him. I trust that team. Number 11, they're winning that division. Now, here's where this is just bad. This is where they messed up their rankings. I'm switching Pittsburgh and Seattle. Pittsburgh was 5 for some reason. And Seattle was 10, switching that out. I do like Pittsburgh, It took me a while to start trusting what Pittsburgh is doing, but they were really injured last year. And that's why they weren't very good last year, because they were injured. And I didn't take that into consideration. I did with the Eagles, but not really the Steelers. Roethlisberger's back. I think Juju is very overrated, but I feel like he's still a good wide receiver. Deontay Johnson, that's somebody you need to watch. Deontay Johnson, that too, you need to watch. So I feel like this Pittsburgh team, actually, there's not much to say about them because they were injury-plagued last year. So with a healthy roster, I feel like this team's not that bad. They're loaded. They're a pretty good roster. So I feel like they're a top 10 team for sure. It's just whether or not Mike Tomlin can bring them together and make them perform. They're in a tough division, but I feel like they can pull it out. Not to win the division. I think they can compete with Baltimore, and I think they'll be able to take over the Browns and the Bengals. Excuse me. I'm going to switch Tampa Bay and Philadelphia. Tampa Bay is 9, and Philadelphia's 8. And switch those. We're going to go to Eagles. Look, they're a sleeper team in the league. No doubt about that. They weren't in the playoffs last year with an absolute awful roster, especially a wide receiver. I mean, Colin Cowherd said it best. I actually chuckled when he says this. Carson Wentz was thrown to lawn chairs and patio furniture. I mean, Greg Ward, people. Greg Ward. Carson Wentz. I don't trust Carson Wentz. I really don't. But with him throwing to people, he might not be as bad. You know, you've got Marquise Goodwin. People have forgotten about Marquise Goodwin, but you got Marquise Goodwin, Sean Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey. I mean, you got some people there that can throw to. You got Goddard and Ertz, probably the best duo in the league. I mean, look, if Carson Wentz can play at a really good level, like where his draft stock was, if he can play there, I think this team could be really good. Got them at 8. Got them at 9. Number 8, we got Tampa Bay. Excuse me. With Tampa Bay, I still have question marks with them because here's the deal. Tom Brady is 43 years old. Okay. That's old. He's still Tom Brady, but he's old. I mean, you saw how he played last year. Now, do not tell me that Tom Brady's not as good anymore because what he was throwing to last year was patio furniture and lawn chairs, okay? So I don't want to hear that anymore. But you've got Leonard Fournette now. Give him some time. And I don't think he's going to be what he was in Jacksonville, but I feel like he's going to be a really good pairing. Ronald Jones will catch him out of the backfield. Leonard Fournette will run straight down your throat. Boom. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans on the outside. Yes, please. Rob Gronkowski, O.J. Howard, Chris Drake. Absolutely. We'll take that. Offensive line was improved. The only question mark I have with Tampa Bay, I don't think they can cover anybody. Who is on that secondary that can cover somebody? I mean, you got a stud linebacker core, Quill Barrett, Levante David. Stud linebacker core. Defensive line, Jason Pierre-Paul, Monica Sue. Yep, we'll take that. Vita Vea, yep. I mean, not Vita Vea, sorry. But who in the world are you going to cover when you go against Michael Thomas? Who's going to cover him on your roster? Nobody. They don't have a single person on that secondary I feel like they can cover anybody. That's just me. That's why they're not higher on this list. It's probably not top 5 in my opinion. Because if they had a secondary, they might be top 5, maybe 6. Got the Bills at 7. We're gonna keep the Bills at 7. And here's the deal: Bills gonna win the AFC East. That's fine. I told you earlier. I think Dolphins will take second. Their division's easy, so winning the division is not really that much of an issue for them. But it's whether or not they're going to be able to make Josh Allen a legit NFL quarterback. Because right now he's playing backyard football. I mean, you saw what he did against the Texans in that playoff game. What the hell were you doing? Rolling the ball over, fumbling the ball like that? Come on now. So, it's whether or not this team can get Josh Allen. If Josh Allen plays just like Carson Wentz, if Josh Allen will play at that level, I think this team is loaded. I love the way they play football. They're one of the only teams in the NFL that play hard-mouth football. Dolphins, Brian Flores has instilled that in Miami. Pete Carroll has instilled that in Seattle for a long time. The Colts have played like that for a long time. The Bills, this is a team that plays like that, and that's why they were able to punch teams like Baltimore in the mouth last year. Baltimore had to wake up when they played Buffalo. Same thing, man. Same thing. I think Buffalo could make really big strides this year, and I'm thinking maybe a deep playoff team. Watch out, Kansas City and Baltimore. Now, for some reason, they have Baltimore at 6. That's not going to stand. Baltimore and Green Bay are going to switch. Green Bay was number 2. Catch that. They're going down. And Baltimore's going up. Green Bay at 6. I'm taking that all day. Because here's the deal. I still like Green Bay. They did lose a couple of defensive players. Yes. But here's the deal. Y'all are forgetting Aaron Rodgers. I mean, yes, Aaron Rodgers the past 3 seasons has gone down.